Alright, if you just want to show off your models and the rendering and the lighting is taking a long time, we do have an alternate way of rendering stuff out so that it looks better than this. So here's a room. It's partially furnished that I did, where it has all these models in it, has an entertainment center with some game consoles, TV speakers, and I want to just show it off so I can render this out. So I'm going to select all the models in my room. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say assign a new material. And under the Arnold shader, there's one called Ambient Occlusion. So if I click on this, what it's going to do when I render is calculate the ambient occlusion on top of all this. And basically what that means is it'll be a fast render, it will ignore the lighting, but it's in areas. Ambient occlusion means that the ambient light is occluded more in areas like corners, behind things, underneath tables. So where light does not bounce around as much because it's not an open surface, it's going to be darker. So if I do a render now, let's take a look. Here is an ambient occlusion pass. So I can adjust my gamma and my exposure to adjust it, but you see it only took 7 seconds, which is super fast. I can get a little bit of depth in there, and I can even go into that material that's now on everything, and where this is the white that we're seeing, and the black is the what would be your shadowy area. So if I click on that and change it to something like more of a muted blue-gray, then what we'll start to see is those shadows and stuff starting to change a little bit more. So let me just tweak that so you can see if I lighten that up. You see, I don't want to go too far, but just so it's a little bit cooler in that occluded area as opposed to it being just a pure black. Now, you'll notice this makes a very quick and very nice render. Only takes a few seconds. There's still a little bit of noise in there, and the way of adjusting that is simply by increasing the samples in that ambient occlusion material. So if I increase this to, say, a 5, it'll take just a few more seconds, but it shows off your environment really well, and it's a very fast render. So if the lighting is giving you a hard time, if you're not able to render it out because it's just running too slow and the instructor has not been able to give you some optimization tips, this is our fallback. You can even add a glass material if you want, so that the windows would drop out, so that people would know that, you know, minus the curtains, that it's an actual window, and you can even have an image. But this is a really good way of just showing your models off really quick. And as I stated, it renders pretty fast. And because of the shadowing and stuff of the ambient occlusion, it looks pretty nice. So this is a good alternative render that you can actually do that should help you out with your room environment and any of the models. The one trick of it is the more detailed your models are, the better they are actually going to look with an ambient occlusion pass on them. So just consider that. If everything is very blocky and you don't have a lot of little details on them, see, I can really tweak it out and get some nice contrast and make some adjustments to it. But if I don't have those details, like you know, you see the details on these pillows, the buttons, there's a little cap on here, buttons on here, recessed part of the table, then it's going to look very blocky, and you're not going to have those same details. So it's just something to consider, and another reason to go into a little bit more detail on stuff.